The Philadelphia Eagles defeat the Dallas Cowboys tonight 24-20. Okay, in a game that saw a weather delay, and it was tough for players to have to come back out for a whole hour. The Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Dallas Cowboys tonight 24-20. Okay, and the storyline of this game wasn't even the game. Okay, the storyline of this game was Jalen Carter getting ejected and thrown out of the game, and also receiving an unsportsmanlike penalty, causing the Philadelphia Eagles to 15 yards at the start of the football game, but getting thrown out of the game for spitting on Dak Prescott. Okay, now listen, like we all understand who Jalen Carter is and the kind of player that he is. We also understand some of the different things that come with Jalen Carter and his antics and some of his disposition and his attitude and different things like that. And all these things that a lot of us typically like to say makes him, a great player, a guy that plays with this edge, plays with this anger and things like that. Okay, but listen, what happened tonight was uncalled for. It was irreprehensible, okay? What happened tonight was disgusting, all right? Jalen Carter cannot afford to take himself out of the game. He's too important and too vital to this football team to have himself be able to be ejected from the game for doing something that he totally could have refrained from, okay, from doing something that's beneath him at this particular point in time. Okay, like I don't care where you come from. I don't care, what kind of things you've been through in life, and we understand, people from being in our community, all right? And no matter what community you are, right? You understand that when you spit on somebody like that, you either you want them to do something, you're letting them know that you don't have any respect for them whatsoever. You don't have any regard for them whatsoever. Okay, and that shouldn't have happened. All right, now, we don't know what Dak Prescott said. We're looking at the camera. Now it's footage saying that Dak Prescott spit in his direction, but on the ground. Okay, and listen, if that's what happened, that's what happened. All right, Jalen Carter could have did the same thing. All right, but Jalen Carter decided to take it one step further and spit in Dak Prescott's face. Didn't quite hit him in his face. Hit him kind of like in his chest collar area, wherever it was. But it was uncalled for. And he should have been ejected from the game for that. And if the NFL decides to fine him, if the NFL decides to suspend him for an additional game or additional games, then so be it, right? We won't like it as an Eagles fan, all right? But at the same time, Jalen Carter, right? Something has to be done for him to understand that he's got to rein it in a little bit, all right? He's got to play with some control, all right? And he's got to act with some type of sense when he's on the football field, right? Too vital to this team, right? So no Jalen Carter tonight. The Dallas Cowboys team was able to dominate the line of scrimmage, in my opinion, in the first half, all right? Philadelphia Eagles in the second half, I thought the defensive line, Vic Fangio came with some more pressures. We saw some more five-man fronts. All right, we saw some double-A gap blitz. We saw some TE stunts, some DE stunts, right? And in the second half, it became effective for us. But in the first half, I thought Javonte Williams for the Dallas Cowboys was able to run the ball effectively. I thought that they were able to get – I don't have the numbers here in front of me, but at some point in time, it looked like they were getting 3 or 4 yards a carry. Right, Javonte Williams ended up with this game with 2 touchdowns. Not quite sure. I don't have the yards in front of me right now. This is an instant reaction. But Dallas ran the ball well in the first half, and in large part because we didn't have Jalen Carter there. Right, Dak Prescott was able to have time in the pocket and was able to find some receivers in the beginning of the game or in the first half of the game because we didn't have any pressure. We had to manufacture pressure in the second half, right? I thought defensively, Adoree Jackson obviously struggled tonight, right? Obviously struggled. We knew that cornerback 2 position was a problem, and I thought that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to either rotate in and out with Ja'Corian Bennett and Adoree Jackson, but it seems as though they gave Adoree Jackson the game to be able to play tonight. Now, we did see Jacorian Bennett get in the game at certain point in times, and I was unsure at one point in time. Adoree Jackson was hurt with a concussion, and I really thought it was the Eagles' way of trying to bench him and give him a way out by saying he was injured, and that's why he couldn't play. But he did return to the football game, and I just thought that he just made this football team suffer, right? I thought CeeDee Lamb, it was obvious that they were targeting Adoree Jackson, no matter who was on him, whether it was George Pickens, whether it was CeeDee Lamb, no matter where he was in zone coverage, no matter what was going on, they were looking for Adoree Jackson. And I thought Adoree Jackson, listen, I just don't think that he played well. Okay, it's whether or not I'm a fan of Adoree Jackson or not really doesn't make a difference, right? If a guy can do the job, a guy can do the job, right? That cannot. When Jalen Carter is out the game, we're going to need our defensive backs to hold up a little bit tighter than that, to give the D-line a little bit more time to get to the quarterback, right? And again, I thought that we were able to manufacture some pressure in the second half, and I thought that's what saved us for the most part, right? Make no mistakes about it. The Philadelphia Eagles defense minus Jalen Carter is what won this football game for the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? Because the Dallas Cowboys were trying to push the ball down the field the entire time. The Dallas Cowboys were able to get some things going at some point in time. The Philadelphia Eagles came up with a crucial fumble on Miles Sanders in that third quarter just before we went to that rain delay, okay? Because it looked like at that point in time, the Dallas Cowboys was getting ready to go in and score, all right, and take the lead and be up 3 points on the Philadelphia Eagles. At that time would have been 27-24, okay? And then we would have had to manufacture something. That takes me to our offensive side of the football, okay? Offensively, listen, this is the first game of the season, right? But I'm not going to make any excuses, okay? Offensively, we didn't look in sync. Offensively, we didn't look like a fine-tuned machine, right? And I don't expect most teams to come out like that. I didn't expect us to come out like that today, all right? However, I saw some different running plays that we were running look kind of like some dives. And I don't really think that I like that. I mean, I think that we need to utilize our big tackles that we have. We need to utilize our guards that we're able to move and pull. We need to utilize our center that we're able to move and pull, and we need to be able to get out on the edges and be able to get Saquon Barkley in space. Like, you know, I understand you want to run between the tackles and things like that, but they got rid of Micah Parsons. They beefed up on the inside. They didn't even play their first round pick from years ago, Mozzie Smith, who was a healthy scratch. It shows you what kind of a bad pick that was for the Dallas Cowboys. But Kenny Clark was there. Diggy Zool was there, and we saw that they were stout up front, right? And running up, and not only were they stout up front, they were crowding the line of scrimmage, okay, making sure that they were trying to take away gaps. They were trying to take away cutback lanes for Saquon Barkley. And they obviously, and quite frankly, played the football game pretty much the way we saw the Kansas City Chiefs play that football game in the Super Bowl. All right. Difference is a couple of turnovers from the defense, right? And then a little bit different of a game plan. Right now, this is Kevin Patullo's first game, right? So who knows? Okay, maybe we were a little apprehensive in calling some type of plays, right? You know, the kind of game that it was, it started to become a defensive game on both sides of the football, all right? And I give Dallas a lot of credit, right? Dallas came in here. We didn't know what kind of team they were going to be, right? But that was a tough football team tonight. That was a football team tonight that I think offensively can score points on a lot of football teams because they're going to put the ball up. All right, Dak Prescott clearly showed tonight that he's not afraid to put the ball up in the air. He's not afraid to give his wide receivers some chances to make plays, right? CeeDee Lamb had about 3 or 4 drops today. All right, that last play may not count as a drop. It would have been a great catch if he was able to make that. All right, but it was a catch that he could have made. All right, Dak Prescott put air under the ball and allowed it to come down softly into a place where CeeDee Lamb could catch it, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to do so. Right, and it helped secure this football victory for the Philadelphia Eagles. Right, but this was an up and down football game. Right, let me know how do you feel about how the Philadelphia Eagles played tonight? Did we see enough from Saquon Barkley? Right. I tell you what I do like. I did like how we were able to use the running backs in the passing game. I like how we use Will Shipley in the passing game. Will Shipley, not quite got to find out what's going on with Will Shipley. Seemed like he didn't come out. It was hurt. And sustained some type of injury sometime in the game, or at least that's what it seems like. I'm not quite sure. Gonna wait to get the report. Wait to hear from head coach Nick Sirianni and why Shipley didn't play in the second half. But I like what I saw from A.J. Dillon. Right, we didn't give him a whole lot of chances to touch the ball, but I like what I saw from that. And I think that that's something that we can grow on. I did also like to be able to see Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert could be a big part of this offense, but we just were not able to get anything going on outside the numbers with our wide receivers. And it's funny. We saw Devontae Smith one time making in a clip when he asked Coach Vic Fangio during training camp, was he going to let the wide receivers get any work today and come out of that cover too? Right, and it seems like the Dallas Cowboys was not trying to let our wide receivers get any work today, and they stayed in the cover two, right? A cover two man, cover two under, cover two man zone, right? Like Jalen Hurts was clearly looking short, and he was clearly looking over the middle of the field and crossing routes or looking for comeback routes with Dallas Goedert, right? And at that particular point in time, like if that's the smartest way to win the football game, then that's fine. Like we all know Jalen Hurts will put the ball up in the air, right? If it's an opportunity to make a play, if it's an opportunity to make a big play, we know that this Philadelphia Eagles team and Jalen Hurts are absolutely down to do such a thing, right? But in a game where it's the first game of the season, you're trying to figure out what's going on and you don't quite know, right? You got to just come away with a victory. And that's what the Philadelphia Eagles were able to do tonight. They were able to come away with a victory, right? Offensively, I think that we could have been better running the football. We obviously could have been better throwing the football, right? Obviously, we're going to see what's going on with Landon Dickerson. It was said that he had a back injury at some point in time during the week, but then he was able to have a full practice. We know he also was dealing with that knee, but it looks like he had a back flare-up tonight and was unable to complete the game. Brent Toth came in and replaced him, and it was for a short time, but it looked like he came in and filled in and did an adequate job, and I was happy to see that. Defensively, again, I thought we could have got some more pressure, right? But not having Jalen Carter, obviously, I mean, that just makes things so differently in how you're calling the game. And I thought Vic Fangio did a better job in the second half of making sure that he was able to manufacture some pressure. He was able to make sure that he can confuse the offensive line about who was coming, which way it was coming from, where did they need to slide the line to, could they slide pressure, right? And we were able to get a lot of pressure on Dak Prescott, but we got to finish, right? Philadelphia Eagles, you got to finish. Got to finish these plays. Jordan Davis got to finish the plays. Nolan Smith got to finish the plays. The D tackle Young got to finish these plays, man. I like what I saw from him. I'm glad the Eagles gave him a chance to be on this roster. I think he clearly deserved it. He stepped in and played a role that he wasn't expected to play tonight, right? And on a championship football team, that's what has to happen, right? Guys got to step up and make big plays and fill big roles. And Young did that tonight. So kudos to him and all the defensive players. I thought also for as much as we was waiting to see from Moro Jomo, I don't think it showed up tonight. And in part because, again, Jalen Carter wasn't in the game, right? Like I like what I saw from Jordan Davis. I think he's going to play himself into good shape, right? But he's not Jalen Carter. Right? Nobody is, right? So the Philadelphia Eagles escaped this game, right? This is just a quick instant reaction. I'm going to watch a little bit of tape, listen to some of the press conferences, go back and watch the game, and then come back with a more conclusive breakdown of the game. This is your boy TK, the official, man. The Philadelphia Eagles survived week 1, right? And that's what's most important, right? Being 1-0, right? Just winning these games as you try to figure out how to fine-tune things, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, practice during the week, come back and make it better, make it perfect, man. It's your boy TK, the official. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me, how did you feel about this football game, right? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you mad? How are you feeling about this game? Do you think the Philadelphia Eagles did enough? Do you think Nick Sirianni had this football team prepared to play, right? A lot of penalties today. A lot of penalties, right? A lot of unsportsmanlike penalties, a lot of hype, a lot of emotions, and we understand that. We want guys to be who they are, this, that, and the third, right? But we got to be smart, right? We put ourselves in a bad position time after time after time with some bad penalties. All right, and those are things that we can correct. Those are things that we can fix. It's your boy TK, the official, man. The Philadelphia Eagles win 24-20 over the Dallas Cowboys to advance or to improve or to become 1-0 early on this football season. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This is TK Sports Talk. I'm out.